Challenger for the Premier Championship, Ron Mathis, a man that a little unhinged, a little off, a lot of other words that I want to say, but if he hears and he may come after me, I'd be terrified. Now, we saw 2 months ago in October, Ron Mathis intentionally got under the skin of Palace. He'd spit in Palace's face. He told Palace that he dared him to hit him. Palace went and got the Premier Championship, laid out Ron Mathis. Palace got himself DQ'd. Palace lost his mind. Palace snapped, quite frankly. If that happens again here tonight, Palace loses the title, and you're looking at your new Premier Champion as if Joe Dombrowski didn't have enough problems. Man that has held the Premier Championship since March of this year in Andrew Palace. We've seen him take on competitors of all shapes and sizes, technical background, brawling background, hardcore background. We've seen Ron Mathis bring out a different side in Andrew Palace. Andrew Palace, for everything that everybody has put him through, never lost his cool, never got himself disqualified, never went over that line, and that's exactly what he did with Ron Mathis. And there's one dangerous thing about this, more so than usual. Chris LaRusso is not here, and that means there's nobody to try and rein in Ron Mathis. Not that you can, but without LaRusso here, Ron Mathis is like a pit bull off his leash. That's dangerous for Andrew Palace. That's dangerous for me, especially dangerous for Andrew Palace, because we saw his knee get taken out last month, and we can't imagine that that's 100%.
This contest is scheduled for one fall, and it is for the Premier Championship. Now, in this contest, the championship can change hands as a result of a disqualification. Introducing first is the challenger from Chillicothe, Ohio, weighing in at 203 1/4 pounds. He is the white trash maniac, Ron Mathis. And his opponent from Hookstown, Pennsylvania, weighing in at 202 pounds, he is the Premier Champion, Andrew Palace.
This is what it's all about, the Premier Championship. One fall to a finish. Again, as a reminder, if Palace is disqualified, he loses that championship. And as I mentioned, we saw at our last event, Duke Davis with the chair to the knee, not only taking out the knee, but then the choke bomb. And you can't imagine in just 2 short weeks that Andrew Palace is ready, or at 100%, excuse me. He's certainly always ready to defend his championship, and he took it right to Ron Mathis. With that drop kick in the corner, just laying the boots. Even more. And I'll tell you, something as simple as the referee getting to a 5 count, and you see Dave Dawson letting Palace know, hey, pal, you're disqualified. You lose the championship. And that's got to weigh on Palace. He doesn't want to let himself lose his cool and go over the edge. It's just Mathis driving those elbows into the forehead of Palace in an attempt to rattle the brain cells, whatever may be left at this point. Mathis certainly not looking to make friends. You'd have to wonder, what does Chris LaRusso have in Ron Mathis' mind about that Premier Championship? I mean, it's obviously the promise to just abuse and hurt somebody, but and there we see that knee again. Able to get a little bit of that enziguri. Didn't get to step up like he normally would, as that left knee obviously already bothering Andrew Palace. Ron Mathis smart to go after it. And I'll tell you, we could very well have the Cogers as our tag team champions, Gory as the welterweight champion, and Ron Mathis as the premier champion. Like I said, as if Joe Dombrowski doesn't have enough to worry about. Again, we do not have an update at this point, and I can't leave this booth to find out what's going on. We see both men tumble to the outside, but Lendl doesn't have an update. We have nothing at this point. Premier Championship Wrestling on Facebook, where we would hope to have an update. As we see these two now battling for the top prize in that Premier Championship. As we see on the outside, Andrew Palace just laying in those chops as Mathis hangs over the guardrail. Andrew Palace, no stranger, no problem laying in punishment. He will kick in that next gear when he has to. Unfortunately, 2 months ago, we saw that cost him the matchup. As fans certainly behind Andrew Palace. I don't know what kind of fans get behind Ron Mathis other than maybe out of straight fear. Oh, jeez, Andrew Palace with a suplex right on the floor. Palace starting to feed off that energy from the people. Palace is nothing if not a fighter. And I may knock him for his crazy hair and the fact that he doesn't know what decaf is, but he's certainly willing to fight. That's why he's the premier champion. And he's the fight of his life against Ron Mathis. But that's what you got to do. You got to not be afraid to take it to a different level going up against Ron Mathis. Ron Mathis is a different kind of animal. Animal being the key word right there. And we see Ron Mathis again going back to that knee. That's the smart strategy. Attack that left knee on Andrew Palace. Cut him down to size, not let him be able to get anything. Just damage to that knee, and that's going to stop Andrew Palace from setting Ron Mathis up for the hernia driver, not able to push off of that leg like he wants to. See Ron Mathis signaling that means he wants the belt, for anybody that's curious, or the championship in this case, the Premier Championship. The people getting behind Palace, and I hate to say it, but that's what Palace is going to need. Because Ron Mathis is going to continuously go after that knee, damage that knee, to the point that Palace not only has to worry about his Premier Championship, but his future going forward as well. We've seen Andrew Palace defend against J-Rock. We've seen him defend against Chris LaRusso. We've seen him in a war against Crimson. We've seen him in a war against Remy LeVay. We've seen him be able to take it to a different place, and that's what you got to do if you want to be champion, and that's a place that Ron Mathis lives every day of his life. Ron Mathis wanted to go one more time, went to the well too many times, to coin a phrase. And Palace is going to need to create some distance between himself and Ron Mathis to try and figure out the damage, see if he can figure out the damage that's done to that knee. I'd say a lesser man would just give it up, live to fight another day, but Palace can't do that. Palace gets DQ'd. He's no longer the champion. Just a shot right to that kneecap. Nothing fancy about it. We heard Mathis. Let's hear it for the new champ. Not an idea that the people really want to get behind. Vicious DDT on the floor. Dave Dawson needs to go out there and check on both men. The DDT, it's a quick drop but a short landing. As Mathis, you heard his head just spike off of that floor. That's a hard floor. There's no padding on that outside ring floor. Is Palace the first to get in the ring? Again, giving him more time to work out that knee, to kind of stretch it out to see if it's something that he can, to maybe mask that pain. Certainly hear the people getting behind Palace. They love their Andrew Palace. As Mathis is able to bring himself to his feet. We could have a count out here. Mathis maybe getting into that ring just strictly on instinct. Palace going for Palace with a... Oh, Palace pile driver. Not something you see a lot out of Andrew Palace. Palace pulling out anything that he can right now with that knee busted. Hernia driver is going to be a little difficult. For anybody that's had a busted knee, every step you take, every movement, you can feel it in that knee. And that could be a meniscus injury. It could be a kneecap. It could be the ACL, which I'm sure Dabrowski knows what that stands for. Something crucial ligament. Well, not something. That begins with S. A lot of S's. Again, you see Mathis with the strategy of going to the knee. Cutter there. Mathis took that too. This could be it. We could have a new champion. Now Mathis, unfortunately, not able to hook the leg. Not going to put Palace away like that. You got to put more punishment to Palace. You got to hold those shoulders down square as much as you can and get as much body weight over Palace. You have to imagine it's going to be hard for Palace to kick out too. Telling the referee to ask him. Palace smart, trying to use that other leg as leverage, but Mathis not going to let it happen. You have to imagine that if LaRusso is coherent from taking that pile driver on the stage for Mickey Shane Page a month ago, certainly wishes he could be here. Obviously, we know who his money's on. The same way my money is always on, mainly because I'm terrified to put it elsewhere in Ron Mathis. But you gotta wonder, if you're watching him, wonder what Andrew Palace needs to do. He's got one leg right now, is just punches to the knee. A little unorthodox, but that is Ron Mathis to a T. Referee Dave Dawson asking if he's gonna quit. I don't think you're gonna see an I quit from Andrew Palace. He'll fight until he's got nothing left. And that's just the way Ron Mathis likes it. Had him in a slam, it lifted him up right into a brain buster. This could be it, as he hooks the leg.
Come on! I'm the champ!
Mathis says, I'm the champ. In his mind, he may very well already be champion. No clue what goes on in the mind of Ron Mathis. I'm guessing a lot of anger, fire, destruction. And the fans feeding, or Andrew Palace feeding on the fans, not only gets them behind him, but it also angers Ron Mathis, and that could be to Andrew Palace's detriment. Well, sending Andrew Palace up on the top, this doesn't bode well for Palace. Andrew Palace using that, Ron Mathis using the rope to his advantage, but more pressure behind the knee. There's a running elbow right to the knee. Obviously, you know, it's the old Anderson type game plan. You find a body part, you stick to it, and you wear it down. But in this case, Andrew Palace came in maybe 75%, maybe only 50%. We're not quite sure. You see both men on top right now. It's going to be a very dangerous landing for one of them, or both of them. Both men just throwing strikes, giving whatever they can. Palace able to push Mathis off. Diving headbutt from Palace, but you saw he wasn't able to jump out. It was more a falling headbutt and getting what he could on Mathis. Certainly had its effect. We'd have to imagine a lot more of effect if Palace were able to spring off and get that height to come down with that velocity. And that took something out of Palace as well. You can see him obviously favoring that leg, favoring that knee. And from my vantage point, hard to see if maybe that kneecap shifted a little bit. There's a clothesline, takes down Mathis. and belly to back suplex right on the back of his head. Mathis is on Dream Street. Mathis doesn't know where he's at, even more so than usual. German suplex, again, right on the back of the head of Ron Mathis. Palace certainly building momentum at this point. Needs to keep that up if he's going to retain his championship. Mathis with a handful of tights certainly thought that was it. Dave Dawson says too. Ron Mathis is yelling into Dave Dawson. Let's see him order a drive-thru. Back elbow there by Palace. Going for sliced bread. Number 2. 2 count only. Saw Palace struggle to push off that top rope with that knee. Give it to Palace, good maneuver, but more and more damage to that knee. It's hard to base your offense off something when you're not using your knee or your back. Those are the 2 crucial points for a professional wrestler, the legs and the back. And certainly the knee, right where the joint is, makes it hard to do anything if it's damaged, as Andrew Palace is finding out right now. Palace here. Palace setting him up if he can get it for the hernia driver. Ron Mathis knew what was coming with those back elbows. Mathis with a shot to the knee and then a front chop block. Not your traditional NFL linebacker. Oh, this could be it. This could be it. The tombstone pile driver. That's Mathis. This could be it. No. Mathis has put away a number of individuals with his tombstone pile driver. Only gets 2. Palace able to kick out. That's a look of shock, confusion, and a bit of anger. And if you're Ron Mathis, what more do you got to do? You got Palace beat. You got him hurt. You hit him with your move, and he kicks out. Again, I hate to argue with Ron Mathis, but he is not the champion. Palace kicked out at 2 3/4. Just dragging Andrew Palace up at this point. Palace is lifeless. Palace may have kicked out on instinct alone.
What have you been thinking for? He's just away the inevitable!
Well, Mathis may be right. The inevitable may be ahead. But Palace is pulling himself up, taking everything he has to try and stand. See that knee a little shaky. No, Palace with just a spine buster there, a standing spine buster. And a curb stomp. But only 2. Palace could not get the full weight over Ron Mathis's body to secure the 3 count. And lifting off that curb stomp, more and more damage to the knee. And where's Mathis? I believe Mathis went to the outside, maybe taking a breather. Lord knows what Mathis is doing out there. Now we see Mathis in the background there strolling around. Oh, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. Reminiscent of last month. Just the roles reversed with Ron Mathis in that Premier Championship. What's Ron Mathis doing? I think realizing that... Oh, no. Well, this is what we saw 2 months ago. Ron Mathis begging him to hit him. And if Palace does it, he's not champion anymore. It'll go right to Mathis. Palace has a decision to make. Oh, and spit right to the ultimate sign of disrespect. If Palace does it, it's over. We have a new champ. Mathis begging for it. The ultimate mind game with Ron Mathis and Andrew Palace. Oh, well, Ron Mathis, a low blow there. by Mathis. He did it. We've got a new champion.
Here is your winner and the new Premier Champion, Ron Mathis.
And allow me to be Joe Dombrowski here for a second. Andrew Palace did the right thing, fought the good fight, acted, it was very noble in his actions, but Ron Mathis still got the upper hand when the referee's back was turned low blow and then rolled up Palace. And for 9 months, Andrew Palace has been your premier champion, but now the king of the mountain, the top of the heap, and the man that represents this company is Ron Mathis. You'd have to imagine Chris LaRusso going to be smiling like a Cheshire cat when this happens. Palace did not get disqualified. He took the high road. Be that as it may, your new premier champion is Ron Mathis.